What's going on, y'all? It's Marcus, MTZ Marcus, coming to you live with the first Ticker Talks, June 1st, 2026. Listen, I'm very grateful to be here, very fortunate to have a couple of folks that helped me get into this trading game, but and just actually know and learn the trading game. I'm a beginner, been doing it a couple years, but just finding my system here over the last couple months. I'm very excited to have found something that I like as far as the type of trades that I like to take. So I'm just, wanting to give back a little bit. Just want to kind of give you a brief summary about who I am. I work full time. I'm a Miami boy, Jamaican Miami boy that is just trying to find his way in this trading stuff. So I attribute some of my trading styles to a few people, 8x at 8x Trades, Abby, and my boy Chris. These guys have helped me along my journey over the last couple of years to kind of formulate my trading style. So, by no means this is financial advice. This is just me trying to give a little insight of how I trade, um, and how I invest in stock over time. And I just want to make sure that I'm giving back the game a little bit to just like those that have given it to me. So, pretty excited about what we're doing. Pretty excited about the journey. And again, I'm going to do this probably once or twice a week as I see fit, but at least once a week, going over some tickers and just kind of charting, showing you the process in which I see things, showing you how I see stocks. I do still get advice from folks and just kind of seeing, getting some confluence on what they see. So just kind of very in the early stages of it, but I want to document the process and kind of share it out to the world, just so if I can help one trader or one person that's getting into trading, it really, um, it really would make me feel good. So just to kick started, I'm going to share my screen and show you guys kind of what I'm looking at and how I'm looking at it. I kind of go through some tickers. I have a screener that I use that I've made that I like, and I kind of see what charts that kind of stand out to me. Um, Behind looking at the charts, like I like to trade uh, a change of structure. So anytime I see a stock that is going uh, in one direction and then all of a sudden pivots into the next direction, I like to kind of take a look at those stocks. Usually, I look from the weekly standpoint, and then I go into the daily and then the 4 hour or 195-minute chart. So as you can see, like this ticker here, um, MDLZ. Not actually nothing to look at there. Um, let's see if I have any on my watch list now. HIMS is actually a good chart to take a look at. I'll erase some of this jargon. Some of these are trend lines that I like to use. Some of them are old markings that I made on the chart. But you can see this is a good example on a weekly time frame. HIMS, I mean, literally has gone down from its highs at 72 down into the teens, right? So drop down into the 13, 14 range. This is a type of stock that I think that it could get back into the 50s and 60s over time. But I just like to see things like change of direction. So anytime a stock goes down this much and then it comes up a little bit and it comes down and makes a higher low, then to make a higher high. This is the change of direction that I'm looking for. And then I drew a trend line based on the last couple of times it's hit this area. So it hit this area, the 1920 range, 1921 range, over the last several weeks, and it came back to test it a few weeks ago. So I look at these and I kind of get excited because I think once it gets back down into this range down here in 2021, I like it to come back up into the 30s, right? So, you know, I'm more of a shorter term trader, just a few weeks. Sometimes I'll hold stuff, or I'll buy expirations on the options for a few months, but not all the time do I do that, especially with this how volatile this market is. I'm learning how to hold things a little bit longer, but just that will come with experience over time, and when to hold and when to cut things at profits. But primarily, I buy options. I have a self-directed IRA account that I use to trade and or invest in longer term. So I'll buy some shares in that account. But the goal is to build a small trading account that I have with options, and then start investing in shares with that account going forward. So just kind of trying to build capital at the moment from that standpoint, but learning how to use a technical analysis, learning how to use some of the fundamentals and flow, which is pretty cool. Where if you compare a chart that has a change of direction like hymns with option flow or open interest, and seeing what other big players or big whales are going into, I'd love to kind of see what that looks like. So if say for instance hymns, I saw the change of direction, then I seek to see if there are any contracts that seem to be inflated or bought a lot of, and kind of follow that trend a little bit until it hits certain price points. So this HEMS trade, I'm looking for it to get into the 31s and maybe even higher into the 36s, um, but with time. So you can see the last few days from 21, it's already bounced to 27. And these are the type of trades that I'm looking for. So, um, you don't always find them. And, one of the biggest things that I've learned over the last few years is really just taking your time and not over leveraging your account. From time to time, I still do it. And that's one of the things that kind of kills me sometimes, because I'll do a shorter dated contract, options contract, and it goes the wrong way, and it takes a good portion of the account, right? And those are the things that you want to stay away from, or I want to stay away from, because if it goes the wrong way, you're going down pretty quickly. But if you pivot and it goes the right way, um, it really is, uh, kind of like a gamble, because you're taking a gamble that it's going to go in the right direction at the right time. And I'm not, I'm smart enough. I'm not going to downplay myself, but I'm not smart enough to time the market perfectly. And that's not the goal. The goal is not to time it perfectly. The goal is to buy enough time to get you the return that you want to get to, and then get out. And Abby at X Trades, he always says, take take your profits, right? Like, take these small incremental wins, and it compounds. And I think that's the goal for me, just taking these wins. If I'm up 30, 40, 50%, taking most of it. um, I think when you're buying contracts, option contracts particularly, if you buy more than one, I tend to keep a dollar amount in mind and play those tickers that allow me to buy multiple in that dollar amount. So like a HIMS or a SoFi, smaller tickers, that if I buy 3 or 4 weeks out, or 2 or 3 weeks out, I want to be able to buy 5 to 10 contracts at a time, right? And what that will do is it'll allow me to scale in to the contract, meaning if I'm at a certain point and I buy just a few here, if it drops a little bit, I'll buy a few more to get me to that 5 to 10. And then once it goes up, I start selling those contracts incrementally. So I'll, take 30%, 50%, 75%, and then leave a couple to run into 1, 2, 3, 4, 500%, right? Obviously, it doesn't always go that way. So that's really where it becomes, you have to have the patience and the discipline to get in and out. But um, uh, a few tickers that I really like, Hims is one of them. If I go down to, let me close this window. On this right hand side that's a screener that I made. There's a couple of them. SoFi is another chart that I really like. Mentioned this one in the group today. I think it's good. I think it'll do well. It's already kind of jumped up a little bit. Made some money on this the last week or two, just based on where it was and the reaction it had. Um, so I'm looking for this stock to at least get back into uh, the 20 range, and then 22-ish, and then maybe even into the 30s again eventually, right? That's the goal. I did buy shares of SoFi, so I plan to hold those long term, uh, 5 to 10 years, with hopes that it goes way higher. SoFi is still a really young company, a lot of tech involved, and they cater to the younger generation for the most part. But SoFi is definitely one of my stocks that I'm looking at. Joby, um, Joby Aviation, JOBY ticker. That's another stock that I'm looking at. I'm already trading or investing in this stock and shares as well. Bought a lot in the, I think my average is like 10, or 9.5, 10. It's actually doing pretty well right now, but I think this one, again, this is a very, very early company, or a very, very new company, and just really starting to bloom in the United States here over the next couple of years. One that I am just really interested in. So I figured I'd buy some shares in that as well. But again, stocks that I would like to look at long term and potentially play on a shorter term basis. So when I hop down to the 4 hour, or the go to the daily chart, still has room. It has a gap to fill, so I'm kind of worried about that short term. Um, I think it's going to hover in this gap and then potentially go back down. You can see this trend line here if I draw it out. Um, I wouldn't be surprised if it drops back into the 10 range and then goes back up. But it's just something I'm looking at. I don't have any options on this currently, just strictly shares. So that's where I am there. Run is another one. Had a pretty bad day today. I have shares in this as well. But again, I drew. You see this white, red, and green box. This is what I'm thinking it will do. So up here in the 20, from 22 to about 16, 15, 16, it kind of consolidated for weeks at a time, right? And then we got a bad earnings. It's actually good earnings, but it dropped pretty big time. So this is what you call the power of three. It's consolidation up here in the white, manipulation down into the red, and then I'm anticipating over the next several months that this gets back up into all-time highs. Actually, not, excuse me, not all-time highs, but back into some highs, recent highs above 21. So I think this was a good shot, a good stock at a discount. If I look at the weekly chart on this, again, you see no real change of direction on the weekly. However, if you look at the daily chart, you can see the change of direction comes down here. So when I'm looking at it, zooming in, see if I can remove this. I'll leave it there, but it came down, up, down, made a higher low, down, up, down, and then right here is really where it kind of accelerated a little bit. And then you can see from 12 to 16 over the last couple weeks, it really made a huge it really made a huge move. And that move, um I that is what you call um just really break a breakout. And those breakouts are, I think, really important because once it breaks out like this, I anticipate that to consolidate back into the 15s, 14 possibly, and then go back up into the 18, 19s, and then play that game until it has some catalysts or earnings or something like that to pop it up into the 20s. So another one that I'm looking at, really cool looking chart. Not as strong as the other solar names like CSIQ, um, which is another one I like a lot, or EMPH. But still, I think you get run at a really good discount in this range here, um, if all goes well with solar. So I'm taking my chance on that. Love to see it. Um, so let's see what uh, Celsius did. Yep, Celsius had a nice aggressive move up here from 28 to 33, and it kind of died at this line here. And this line is one of the SMAs. It is, let's see, the 50 SMA. So, anytime it hits a major SMA or moving average, it tends to fall a little bit. So not really concerned about it. It could just hop over it and then turn that color green. That's what I anticipate over time. Um, Uber, been watching Uber for a while. I think it's in a range now. I think if it gets back up into the 70s, 76, sorry, 76. If it breaks above 76, I'll take it for higher. But until now, I'm just kind of keeping it on the watch list. Um, but Delo, I think Delo was one of them that I really liked. I bought some shares, but I closed them out. I'm sorry, I bought some options on this one, but I closed it out pretty early. And I closed out today at like a 15% gain. And after I did that, it ran, probably would have got 40 or 50%. I bought June 18th calls on this one. I like this one because it has a couple things. When you look at the higher time frames on the weekly chart, it's literally been consolidating for since really August of 25. So, a little less than a year, right? When you take all things into consideration, I use also Fibonacci's, for the Fibonacci retracement tool to kind of gauge where I like to be. This stock literally has did this consolidation thing like a staircase down and then hit the bottom of this trend line and then shot up, right? Like this is an aggressive weekly move up. And then I'll go back to the daily chart to show you when that was, but that was this week where it got to 10, hit the trend line, and then bounced to 12, right? That's a pretty big, that's a 20% move on the stock. So I like this one a lot, at least to get back up to this upper trend line here into the 13 or 14 range. And if it does its job and does what I think it's going to do, I think it goes and takes out all of these highs here. But again, you got to buy time with this one because it consolidated so long. Even if it just gets back up into the 15s, I'll take most of my profits and go. More than likely going to get back into this. Just kind of have to see how it plays out. I mentioned hymns. I mentioned SoFi. Let's see. CSIQ. This is another really cool chart that I literally called to the T. I didn't hold long enough, and I mean I have shares in this, and my shares are up like 35%, which is good. But like I wish I would have bought longer term options down here. What I did was I bought just like a couple week option, and it ran up to like I think one of them ran up to almost 1,000%. But I bought really low, so it was like one of those 10 cent options that ran up to like $100. So not much money made, but just kind of trusting the process and what this chart looked like. And again, consolidated, dip for manipulation, and then aggressive move up for uh, the uh, you know consolidation, manipulation, and then distribution up. And that's another cool chart to look at. But I mean, this is what I literally do. So now for the next few minutes, I'm just going to be looking through a few tickers on my scanner to see if I like them. SoFi's on my scanner, which I'm already looking at and already into. Um, CRM obviously took off the last couple days. Can't really touch that. Pins looks good. TTD, I don't know. Oklo, Toast, DraftKings. Heinz Ketchup. This one actually doesn't look too bad either. You're looking at it on a daily chart. It took the low here, came back up. This might want to move back up. Let's see what the weekly chart looks like. Yeah, I think that's come way down, way too far down for me. So I'll get out of that one. I won't look at that. Roblox is another interesting one for me. It's funny how this is the stock that I'm actually teaching my kid. My kids how to trade on, and I say kids, but my son Zion, he's the one that is uh, interested in the numbers, interested in stocks. He kind of looks at what I'm doing sometimes, but because of where it is, if I look on the weekly chart, I mean this thing has taken a beating over the last several weeks. So from August last year, right? This I think is a stock that gets back up into the 130s, 140s, 150s. So it's kind of like a stock that I'm gonna buy some shares on at this point. I think I don't know if it's bottomed out, but I think it's reached a somewhat of a bottom. If it gets back into the 33s, I'll probably buy more. Just based on the business plan, the model, how many people actually play the game. But I don't mind it either for a shorter term trade because of where it is. It's balancing off this trend line. And I say shorter term on this one, it's a longer short term trade. So that's like a few months, buying into August or September uh, to see what it does. Um, let's see. Just kind of going through some other ones. Callaway's pretty interesting to me as well. Every time it's hit this trend line, it's jumped up a couple of dollars. So um, let's see, one from 12 to 14 came back down here. From 13 to 15, it came down here. From 13 to 15 again, or 16 almost. Then here, this is ER Catalyst, but who cares? Down from 14 to 18, and then it dived back down into this trend line again. So only thing I don't like about it is the last time it hit, it didn't take out this high of 18. So does this take out? Does this last hit at 14 or 15 take out this candle, or does it come back down after it consolidates into this 13 range? I'm a golfer, so I'm watching it. Let's see. Another cool one, AHR. I like this one only because of where it is and how strong it's been. Um, I do believe. Let me check. I think this one's a little bit expensive. When it comes to, I'm just checking Robinhood the AEHR. I'm checking the options change on this one to see how bad it is. Yeah, this one's very expensive. So I won't be touching this one. Is that ER? Why is it so expensive? I don't know, but it's very. Yeah, the option change start off at like 1200. So I won't be touching this one with a 10-foot pole. Although I want to, I mean, it's a pretty cool looking chart. Everything is very, very expensive on this one though. All right, so that's not gonna work. Um, this one came to my attention today. Somebody mentioned it in our group. Pretty expensive as well. CCJ. Owl looks good. Shopify. I don't know. So I mean, just kind of going through some charts, but I think the ones I'm really focused on is like SoFi. I think another cool thing to do is take a look at some of the oil names. Um, I think some of the oil names are going to perform pretty well over the next few weeks. If I look at like Oxy, look at this. I mean, Oxy can get back into the 60, 61 range and then go even higher depending on any news we might have. Um, it's just something to look at. Let's see. But yeah, listen, um, I just want to, kind of give you an inside look of what I'm looking at. I think the charts that I'm going to be focusing on this week are the ones that I mentioned: SoFi, Hims, Run, and Joby, to name the four. Um, and then, as far as options go, so I'll keep an eye on those. I'll let you guys know how they perform if I do get into them. But yeah, I guess you can expect this ticker talks at least a couple times a week. Um, as I'm sitting here, just kind of charting and seeing what's out there. And then, please leave comments, leave, like, follow, subscribe, share. Anything I can do to help the community, anything I can do to help you in your trading endeavors, I would love to do it. So if you need anything, you know how to find me. Again, thank you for allowing me to take some space on your computer, tablet, TV, however you're watching. Hit the like button, as my kids would say, like, follow, subscribe, like, follow, subscribe. I'd love to help in any way I can. So uh, signing out, 12:12, probably should get to bed. I appreciate you guys again for spending some time with me today. So take care. Bye.